That's Mercury retrograde for you. Looks like I was off on this trade. I thought there was something a little tricky there I was picking up on, but I didn't catch it, unfortunately, which is that there's a low followed by a rally that offers opportunity. So I was seeing like, I just wasn't seeing it clearly. In any case, there was opportunity here, bullish opportunity into the high. But now, like, if you're still in a bullish position, probably take that as a loss. Get into a short position. And the morning of the 17th should be important in some regard. I think there's probably a lot of price change here to the downside, so we probably go from like a crest to a trough there at the end of the day. But when I was doing the 1 day reading for the 17th, the Tower card came to me in a clairvoyant impression, and then when I turned the cards, what do you know? The Tower card was the theme card.
Hermes, you can't sit in my whole mouse area. Come here, buddy. You're the best, you know? You're the best. Everybody loves you. Go sleep over there.
And it's a nullified card that we have for the 17th, like the sneak preview for the 17th, or I should start calling it the relativity card, because it gives me an idea of where we open in relation to where we close, i.e. relativity. It's one of the part of the 1 days that's given me the most difficulty, especially when we get into nullified. So hard to say where we open, but we should see in the pre-market either a drop, like opening lower with a big move higher, or we open higher with a decline and then a big move higher. And by big move higher, I mean like from the bottom of a range to the top of a range on like a 1 day, like on an hourly chart kind of scale, I should say. Right, so hopefully you guys are in short positions here. It gets kind of hectic in the final hour. There might be, matter of fact, that was the breakout right there. Yeah, so we're already into this pleasure card, which is going to be erratic behavior back and forth to the same price level, but I think it's going to be skewed with more to the downside than just sideways. It's going to be more to the downside, is my sense. Right, so cross-reading congruency here with the Priestess card. There might be a female leader speaking here, and something that was like previously hidden comes to light in a truthful manner, like some truth comes to light. It might not be a female leader, but there's some sort of truth that comes to light here. Somebody's speaking around, say, 10 o'clock-ish. got highs here, but the cross reading correlation is universe. So we should probably see pretty notable moves off of these peaks. These won't be highs for the day over here, that's my sense. We'll probably see a low at the end of the day. It's looking pretty bearish, actually. The 17th. Yeah, I guess we probably do go into a low. I might have been off about that high. It does look like we go into a low based on the dailies here. Right, 17th, 18th, 19th. Man, I'm gonna be so annoyed if my April readings come out as bad as my March. I had like a bunch that were really, really awesome, but way too many that I felt like more than I felt was acceptable that were not good, which is like four readings, which were not solid. That's when I was like, those readings were conducted when I was like racing every minute of the day to do these like micro cryptocurrency monthlies, and I had no time to do anything else but like all of these orders, and that's why we changed it, because it was just out of hand. I was losing the time like necessary to like make it an art, because it really is an art. It's not a science, it's an art. There's a cross reading congruency here though for high. There's probably some pretty crazy price swings here, because we're coming up on Mercury retrograde, right? And this the week entering into retrograde notoriously, well, the week entering into the influence and the week entering into retrograde notoriously, in my opinion, have had incredible like increases in volatility. A lot of money can be made if you can play volatility properly, which there are strategies for playing volatility with options. And I have a strategy that I put into play on the edges of retrograde. So on the other end of retrograde, I'll be able to look back at this shadow period of retrograde on the front end of retrograde, see what the chart did, and get a very good idea of what the chart's going to do on the second end. So it's like 2 weeks here will tell me a good idea of what 2 weeks later will do. And it's like, it's really, really solid. I mean, it's not 100% because unfortunately weekends kind of mess up the pattern. It's not congruent on both ends of the retrograde. The weekends will be in different places, kind of skewing the pattern, but you get the overall kind of thing. And with knowing that there's a lot of volatility, you don't even need that little edge that you get from understanding Mercury retrograde. Just knowing that there's volatility increasing, you play a volatility type of option spread, and you should do pretty well, even if you're not trying to like dance and play both sides of the leg. If you just play an options spread of like a straddle or a strangle, or the option spreads, really the two main option spreads that are kind of like built for volatility. And the classic way is just to let it move to one side, like either bullish or bearish. Like you make money in either direction. It just has to move like enough that you make back the difference of what you spent to open the position, right? And then it becomes profit. So a strangle or straddle allows you to play either direction. Doesn't matter which way it goes. What you're playing is that it's going to take a big move in one direction. So the classical way is just to sell after that one big move. The Tarot for Traders way is to sell, buy some more in the opposite direction, sell, buy some more in the opposite direction, sell, buy some more in the opposite direction, back and forth. I once got paid to put on vertical spreads, like $9,000. I got paid to put on vertical spreads, and it was like, I don't know, another $1,200 or something like $1,200 that the spreads would have equaled if they'd expired in the money, which they didn't, but I still got paid to put them on. And normally you don't get paid to put on a vertical spread, a vertical debit spread, in other words. was actually a credit spread for me because I put it on in 2 legs. Hey, Round Earth. How you doing, my man? Alright, so then there's this little erratic thing going on here. This might be the price level right here, actually. What do we have? What is this marked off as here? Cruelty. It's probably this price level right here is my sense. We do some erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. So if you missed the opportunity here, guys, to short, it is possible that we see another opportunity, because often in the midst of, hey AU, in the midst of the pleasure card's erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, often it will revisit a crest that was recently a past opportunity. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's an opportunity when it's revisited, but sometimes it is. And my sense is that we might have another opportunity to get into a short position if we missed it here. There's probably another opportunity there. Glad to have you, man. Man, I dropped my water bottle and it cracked. Talk about a cheap water bottle. It wasn't even that bad of a drop. We've got merch coming out soon. We've got merch with the logo coming out. If you're wondering what the logo is, this is the logo. It's the sun and the moon working through infinity. Hey, it was luck. It's also my sigil. It's a magical sigil. Volume should be overall bearish, but probably swing like this card the way that I would like. This would likely play out. And I'm new. We're doing like volume cards new. It's still like a new thing. It's not got like 20 years of past behind it. But the way that I would read it here is really kind of like a mixed. I forget if I have that on the cards. On the, it's probably in the book, but I'm not sure if it's on the website. Let's see. No, we don't have volume. Well, I'll have to add that. That'll be in the next book. We'll add volume if it's not in the book. It might not be. Yeah, so we're probably coming up on another opportunity now, guys. I mean, not right this second, but like we're in the midst of coming up on it. And this is probably the price level right here. That's pleasure card is dancing around back and forth, or maybe not. Let's see how low we go. Hey, Proof. I think that's a big part of why SPCE isn't doing so hot, because for whatever reason, sometimes people lump things together, and Virgin Orbit was an offshoot of SPCE. So basically, SPCE, my understanding is that SPCE, or Virgin Galactic, was landing contracts to launch satellites into space. And they were getting enough of that business that they made an offshoot company, which is Virgin Orbit, right? Which was strictly like launching like high altitude airplanes launching satellites into space, and it didn't do so hot, obviously. So the question is, does that mean that Virgin Galactic starts picking up this business again? I mean, it's side business. It would be side business for Virgin Galactic, which, you know, it's not something that needs to be relied upon. My sense is that in the long run, it's probably good for SPC because they were doing well enough with the satellites to think it was a good idea to do an offshoot. You know what I mean? I'm feeling like that's the price level actually, so let's mark it off here. Erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, in the midst of which we revisit a crest that was recently a past opportunity. So that's what I would be looking for, guys. Opportunity to get back and get into a short position. If you missed this Princess of Wands. This was a tricky bullish trade early in the morning. It's very characteristic of Mercury retrograde's influence to kind of like have things be correct but askew enough that it's faulty. Like I could have read this differently. I read it as like a rally higher into a drop, and really it was a drop and then a rally out of it. Does the Fed hike rates in the next Fed meeting? That's an affirmative. Yeah, see, there's still some upward, like, space there. Matter of fact, we should really hit the bottom before we hit the top again, but there might be some, like, you know, crests in this RSI, but point is we're looking for this, like, point where we break through the 20 before we start breaking through the 80 again. Otherwise, we're still in, like, a downward trajectory based on that. You could utilize now as an opportunity. I would say we're around a price level that's acceptable for a short position. Probably a pretty big decline there. 17th is definitely looking bearish to me. Even with these high correlations at the end of the day, these will be peaks. It's an overall downward day. Why are we getting drunk in the morning? really difficult to determine where we're going to open. I'm just we got universe energy at the end of the day on the 17th. I mean, it's a down day, that's for sure. So if you're hopping on late, I'm thinking we probably do see a trough rather than a crest or peak, but there might be both. We might see like a significant trough and a, like near high, because we've got a pretty narrow range going on for the month, don't we? Take a look. Pretty narrow. That's the range, right? So it's very possible we could see a high and low within very close proximity to each other. What you got to take into consideration is not just an eclipse. It's Mercury retrograde. We're going into retrograde. Mercury station. It's moving the slowest. It moves in the sky. It's almost paused in the sky on the 21st. That's usually a pivot point. But the days leading up to the station are the most volatile days of the year. This happens 3 to sometimes 4 times a year, but usually 3 times a year. Mercury retrograde, if that's something you've never heard of before. Amazon. It's going to be volatile next week. It's going to be mixed. It's going to be volatile. And we're talking about Amazon now. It'll be mixed, volatile. There'll be at least one fake out, shakeout in there. Something that'll like be very tricky and probably trip up the novice investor. Hey, AV1111. Let me take a look. The question was, on the yearly, do you see a low at the end of July on the S&P 500? So it looks like in July and August we likely have the same high. We reach the same high. It's either that or it's this like the high is on the cusp of July, August. But there should be a highest high there. There's a notable low. It's probably like a lowest low there. I think after we see a pretty notable peak, we have a strong decline off of that, like in maybe like the end of August, September or so. there's definitely going to be a trough there. I don't know if it'll be a lowest low. There's a strong likelihood of a lowest low. Even in this like bullish chart, you could have like a lowest low and then us come back to highest high, which it looks like we do probably at the end of the year there, on the cusp of November, December. So a lot of ground covered in October to the upside, and then a lot of ground covered in December. And even September's looking bullish, so it's like, where's this drop that's going to take us to a lowest low is what I want to know. The lowest low might actually be in October. Oh, and I mean that would make sense because we have the other half of the solar lunar eclipse going on there. I'm not. It's hard for me to determine. It just seems so hard, like unbelievable for a lowest low to appear after the highest high and then another highest high. But it's a strong likelihood. In any case, whether or not it's the lowest low, there'll still be a significant trough there. But there should be a lot of movement to the high on the cusp there of July, August. To reach a highest high, at least thus far highest high. In the grand scheme of things, you know, we haven't really moved that much. We could technically see a lowest low and a highest high within that time frame, and back, because I mean, look at it, guys. Like we're going from highest high thus far to lowest low thus far in less than 2 months, like a month and a half. So it's possible that could really take place. We go from a highest high here to a lowest low, and then back to a highest high at the end of the year. I think that's probably what happens. And then in 2024, we have this big move. We push the upper end of the range higher, so that's where we see higher price levels than we've seen thus far in the S&Ps in 2024. I was picking up a lot of clairvoyant impressions about natural gas just a few weeks ago. Not so much now, but I wonder what happened. I didn't really look into it. Let's see, what do I got? Do I have USO here? I don't know if I did this yet, though. I didn't do this one yet. Let's see what we got here. see a prominent move back down towards the end of the month of April. Should get bearish. I'd have to do a full reading to be certain, but it does appear to me that we have lows towards the end of the year for USO. No, actually, let me take that back. Looks like low in June. Might be the same low. That might be what it is. But should be a lower price level than what we've seen thus far. I think we might see it again at the end of the year, the same lows. But for April, we should see this move back, like a prominent move back down from this big move that we took to the upside. Prominent move back down. Silver spot. I'm bullish until the 19th. That's when I'm looking to exit out of silver bullion on the 19th. Maybe on the 18th, 19th. Overall bullish or bearish next week? Well, it's going to be mixed, but I think it's mostly bullish to start. July high, cusp is highest high. Correct, yes, I see a highest high. So the way that you would read these markups, guys, if it's a filled in green star, then it's the highest probable location of a highest high. The more opaque it is, the more probability. Same thing goes for lowest lows. Filled in is most likely lowest low. Rather than doing 2023 readings, I just started doing 2024 readings. I'm tired of being behind, so the 1 year readings that are coming out are going to be 2024 readings pretty much. And then I'll have like a post that reminds people, hey, we posted this a year ago, check it out here, when it's more like an appropriate time. Oh wow, so great opportunity in here. Interesting. Again, opportunity to short. It's hard to determine where we open, but it is pretty. I do feel pretty strongly it's a bearish day on the 17th, with a high like real early in the morning. Might have something to do with the speech, but again, guys, opportunity in the midst of this peak here. It looks like it could easily be missed, but opportunity here for short position. You're welcome. It was luck. Thanks for watching, my friend. You're welcome, AV1111. That's my number you're rocking, by the way. I've been representing that number for life. Alright, so opportunity to open up short, bearish day. Price swingy in here. But there should be at least one sharp drop that'll stand out on a 1 month. Alright guys, I'm gonna roll. Thanks so much for watching. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma if you're new to the channel. Oh, nice. It's a good birthday. If you're new to the channel, you You can follow the rule of karma here in our resources tab, where you send 5% of the profits back to the channel. Much appreciated, my friends. And then all you angel investors out there are sending 5% of the profits forward to one of these charities or to another charity that you see more fitting. That leaves you with 90% of the money you would have made without the channel to begin with. So make sure you spend that money out of love, and the universe will send it back to you tenfold from all directions, my friends.